Hey everyone, it's Chris from NGT Systems. Today I'm going to be talking about why and how would someone become an IT engineer. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit subscribe and obviously just like this video as well. Today I will be doing this video that I've been meaning to do for a very, very long time. So I'm really happy I actually got around to doing it and record it. What I want to do here really is just give you a brief overview and maybe give you a little bit of an insight into my experience as well, and give you a hand in realizing your dream of becoming an IT guy. So what would drive someone to become an IT engineer? Maybe this is something that you really love and you really enjoy doing. If you enjoy messing around with your computer, your tablet, your phone, etc., this might just be the place for you, because technically that's what we do all day long, just mess around with computers. If you're looking for something challenging, this is definitely the place for you. IT is a very fast moving field and you will need a lot of effort just to keep up with tech. And it is actually quite difficult to keep up with all the tech coming out. Obviously, you need to find something that is fairly easy to find a job, and IT is actually one of those fields. If you head over to any job search engine, you'll find there are absolutely loads of jobs in it. Pretty much every single major city in the UK, and there are just a lot more jobs than qualified and experienced people to fill those roles. So it's a reasonably easy, or at least a little bit easier than other fields to find a good place to work for. It's a future-proof thing as well. If you watched it, IT has been around for decades now, and with pretty much everything is moving over to computers and getting automated. IT will be around for many decades from now on, so you don't really need to worry about becoming extinct. Career progression is another good motivation there. If you're willing to put in the time and you're willing to study and you're willing to follow the tech and just learn about new ways of doing stuff and the new technologies, it can drive your career massively. It is a good place to be, and you can make a really, really spectacular career very quickly. It is absolutely vast field, IT. There's always something for pretty much everyone to float their boat. You can be doing from very, very basic tasks as a first or second liner, just picking up phone calls, sorting out broken down bits and bobs, to IT development, writing applications, creating databases, etc. So IT is an absolutely vast field, and you'll probably find something that actually you enjoy doing a lot. The other thing is, obviously, you go to work to pay your bills, as well as many other things, obviously. But salary is actually fairly decent with IT. So for a first liner, if you have a reasonably good experience and you manage to pick up a good job, you could be starting off from maybe even over 20 grand a year. And once you got to the stage where you've spent 10, 15, maybe 20 years in IT, and you've got a lot of experience and you specialized into a very paid field, you can make up to 100, 120 grand. But obviously it will need a lot of time to go and achieve that goal. So what do you actually need to become an IT engineer? First of all, passion and dedication. You'll spend a lot of time researching stuff, studying, and that's just going to be on top of your daily work. So if you don't feel that as a burden, but it's something that you enjoy doing, and you will research stuff on the internet, or crack a book open, or just go and watch online videos, or whatever tickles your fancy there, really. As long as you don't feel that as a burden and you enjoy doing that, that will be something very good for you, and you will be doing it a lot. Obviously, you need genuine interest in computing. So if you're not fully dedicated and not fully interested in computers, just don't do it. Just do something else that you actually love and enjoy doing. It will be a lot better off that way. You need a very solid understanding of the basics. If you just become an IT engineer and you're just starting off in this field, you don't need to know a lot. you will need to know the very basics, but there will be many more videos coming, hopefully, and I'll talk you through those, and you will see that it's fairly simple to pick up those very basics that will land you the first IT job. University degree. Now, that is a very helpful thing. I didn't actually do one, and I have a very strong debate between university degrees and vendor certificates. What you'll see there is you can either go to uni and spend 3, 4, 5 years on studying computer sciences, and when you come out with a degree, you will have a very solid and very good understanding of how things work. On the other hand, vendor-based certificates, they are very real life and real life taste certificates that you can do from pretty big vendors like Microsoft, CompTIA, or Cisco themselves. They will teach you specific technologies. So, for example, from Microsoft, you can do a course for Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, Windows Server operating systems, for example. And technically, either the university degree or these vendor certificates will land you a fairly good job to start off with. So one of those is going to be a massive help to you. To be honest, I would recommend the vendor-based ones purely because university will take up quite a few years of your time, whilst one of these certificates you can actually just study in your own time. You can do it beside your existing current work. Maybe take a couple of months, 3-4 months to actually do that, and you go to a test center near your home and just go and take the test, and that will lend you that certificate. Now, these certificates, unlike the university degree, they'll need to be renewed after a certain period of time. So Microsoft ones don't expire, so don't need to renew them, but Cisco ones, for example, they most of them actually expire every 3 years. Same with the CompTIA ones. But so once you got into IT, what's the chain of command and what's the field like? Basically, as you normally start off in IT, you start off as a first line supporter. What these guys do is they would pick up all the telephone calls coming into a service desk. They would answer all the tickets that were logged either online or emailed in, that kind of stuff. These guys will go through massive numbers of tickets, but they'll be fairly simple to resolve. So we're looking at maybe create a new user account, reset someone's password, that kind of stuff. So that's what first line support is about, getting rid of the very easy, very nice and quick to resolve things in the first round. So once a call comes in, first line will look at it. If it can be resolved pretty much straight away, these guys will do it. That's why if you're a first liner, you will see absolutely loads and loads and loads of calls coming your way. When you move into second line support, which is a little bit more senior role, to be honest, these guys will take calls escalated from first line. So if the first line guys are lacking time or experience or training or just technical skills to resolve something, that's when it would come into the second line support role. Second line would also be responsible for things as managing the infrastructure for desktops and laptops, for example, so the client side of the network. By that, what I mean is they will push out Windows updates, for example, just make sure everyone's got all the latest updates. They would do pretty much the same with antivirus, for example, and just make sure everything is in tip-top shape and condition, so just minimize the amount of problems and preempt a lot of issues from appearing. Third line support, that is the sort of most senior role in this kind of line of support. This is a fairly generic field, the first, second and third line support, so you'll be looking at a lot of different stuff, and that's just a huge variety of stuff that you'll be supporting. When you got into third line, they are mostly doing work on server-based environments, so whatever they do tends to be high impact. So it tends to influence the whole infrastructure. They will make a modification in group policy, for example, to make changes on every single computer across the field. and they will be looking into breakdowns and problems that the first and second line support can't actually resolve, or they just don't have the access to resolve it. But once you've moved out this generic kind of support, that's when you go into the specialist fields. From specialist fields, these are a little bit better paid jobs as well, but they need a lot more experience and a lot more specialized knowledge in one certain field, and that could be something like network support. So these guys will only focus on switches, routers, network cabling and that kind of stuff, or maybe SQL support, so just looking after the databases in the company. Application support, writing new applications. Obviously that's part of developers as well. And management is I wouldn't put it down as a generalist first, second or third line. Obviously that's going to be something of specialist ones, because management tend to have a slightly different skill set to the technical guys. They will be more preoccupied with creating the processes, make sure everything is done in the correct logical order or in the correct logic, but not necessarily have the technical skills to carry out those tasks. So I've given you a lot of positives about IT, and I've given you a lot of insight into why it's a spectacular place. It's a really nice place to be. But obviously there are things that you need to consider. Those are the cons, where that might not be so perfect for everyone. You will be sitting and looking at computer screens all day long. If you're lucky, you get to maybe 3 or 4 or 5 screens, and that can be very draining and very straining on your eyes and your back. So if you don't do, or if you can't do that kind of thing, IT might not be the perfect field for you. Continuous improvement, it's a pro and a con as well at the same time. What you will find there is, as I said, IT moves real fast, and that will force you, if you want to keep up with your job, or if you want to progress in your career, you will have to put a lot of your own time into studying. Now, if that's something that you want to do in the first place, or wanted to do in the first place, then that's not a con anymore. But this is something that you definitely need to consider. At the moment, I would probably be spending my 8 hours working, and then maybe 1 to 2 hours pretty much every evening, just researching stuff and making sure I've got all the latest and greatest, and just catching up with new technologies and make sure that I can use those to help myself during the day. And that's another big one, people skills. What you'll find, as long as you're in first, second or third line support, you will mostly be dealing with angry people. Then people will call you because their computers don't work, and they're already pissed off, they're already stressed, they probably need to meet important deadlines that they can't do it because their computer isn't working. So they're not going to be angry at you, but they'll be very pissed off with the computer not working. And you need very good people skills and very good management skills to make sure these people calm down and they understand that no, you're not working against them, you're working for them, and making sure that they get back up and running as soon as possible. Working hours. Now, if you become and get to the top of your game in IT, the more important and more knowledgeable you'll become, the more hours you will have to put in, because you will just end up supporting more and more different systems. And as with IT, normally everything needs to be up and running 24/7. That means you will need to be available 24/7. That could mean working remotely. That could mean being on the phone, available to take phone calls. But it is definitely loads and loads and loads of hours. And as you get more and more senior, these hours just do increase. They don't ever go down. So hopefully that's given you a little bit of an insight into how IT works and why it's a good thing to be an IT guy, and some of the downs as well, what you need to consider before you go ahead and make that life-changing decision. I'll make a few more videos, I promise. just to give you a bit more insight into what's happening in IT, how things are actually working, and I'm hoping to put a series together to help you through that starting off phase, give you the necessary basic skills to land a new IT job. So thanks a lot for watching, and I hope this has been a great experience for you. Obviously, don't forget to subscribe or like this video. Thanks a lot. See you later, guys.